got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now, the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour, along with Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick is here.
Good morning as well.
Good morning. And Spence is still up north in Alaska.
Hanging
But
out
he'll
with the
be back.
mooses
Yeah, hanging out. Yeah.
or mises.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So what's been happening this week? What's new?
Nothing, really.
I have something cool to talk about, but I don't want to steamroll the conversation yet until everybody has their pleasantries out of the way.
No, you should take it over because I've got a long form thing, so go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, in the 3D printer world, there's a couple brands of 3D printers that are like the top of the pack for hobbyists, I guess. And the one I have is Bamboo. Well, Bamboo just released their latest printer this week, and it is insane. I'm gonna share my screen. Can I do that? How do I do that? I
Absolutely.
actually never done that before.
I mean, you as long as
Share. All right. Okay. Cool. Can you see my screen? Does that work? Okay. So what makes this printer different is it it the print bed is bigger. So it goes from 256, I think is what I have, which is about 10 inches, to 350. I don't know what that is, 350, but it's bigger than 256.
Mhm.
Um, but the thing that makes this amazing, and some other competitors have done this as well, it has dual nozzles. And let me scroll down so I can
It's
show you.
almost 14 inch. It's a bit shy of 14 inch.
14 inches, yeah. Okay. So it has double nozzles for the printing, which is absolutely insane. So what that means is that traditionally, as I scroll back up to the top, the nozzles right here. You can see
Mhm.
my mouse. So traditionally, it's just one nozzle, and this supports 4 different colors. So what would happen is the filament would go down, it would print on the bed, and then if it needed to swap colors, it would have to purge the old color and then put the new color into that one nozzle. And it's a process that probably takes 10 to 15 seconds. Uh, but it has to do that for each layer if each layer has a different color. Uh, that it's printing, which adds up to a long time. And also
I
a lot
should.
of go ahead.
I'll say when it's purging it, it's essentially just, and it's also wasting
Yeah.
Exactly.
filament because it's just essentially spitting it out of the nozzle to get the new color in there, right?
Exactly. So it's a lot of waste. And in fact, there's a joke that when somebody is done printing a multicolor print, they basically have the same amount of plastic from the purge. They call it poop because it basically poops out the extra filament. But with these double nozzles, there's less waste. It still purges a little bit if it switches between, but it doesn't have to do it as much, so it's more efficient. And also speed wise, efficient wise, because it could swap between the nozzles without having to load it up every 15 seconds or whatever it is.
But
So
it
that's
still
awesome.
prints with one nozzle at a time.
Um, That I'm not sure. I
'Cause
think I think it does only print with one nozzle at a time. Yeah, no, because if it printed with 2 nozzles, that'd be like if you were holding 2 markers and you were drawing one thing with the 2 markers. But I don't know. Maybe it does dual. I
yeah,
don't know.
it's true. What you
Um,
said make sense. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so that already is amazing. The second thing, but the other thing that is absolutely amazing, which I'm really excited about, is it's also has a laser attached to it. And what this laser can do is the laser can die cut. Um, so this is when it can cut wood. It can etch 3D space. So it has scroll down. So it has what they're calling AI I don't know, 3D AI. What is it? Content
Of course.
contactless 3D mesh. So it can scan your 3D object with the cameras, and then it can etch on a curved surface that it like builds digitally in its brain or whatever, which is super awesome. Uh, it has a rotary attachment, so it could etch on things that are moving or like that are you can rotate it, which is super crazy. Um, and this is like if people are familiar with a cricket is another hobbyist machine that can cut things and draw things. And this is the 3D printer with the marker attachment, and it can color in things. Like it can draw a drawing and color it in. And it
Like
could
an
cut
old time plotter.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it could cut paper, it could etch in, it could cut wood.
It's
And
a
what
it's a machine shop.
it's a machine. Yeah, in fact, that's how they advertise it. Advertise it as personal manufacturing. And the thing that makes this amazing is that their competitor Glowforge, which is just a die cutting machine. Look at these prices: $7,000, and then you can get I guess the smallest one is $700. And this 3D printer, it's bigger. You got dual nozzles. It can cut, and this whole big thing. The most expensive is $2,800, and it comes this right here on top is separate. The AMS, so the AMS that supports multiple things, or multiple colors. That right there is probably just like $400, but you don't have to have all that stuff. You could just use it, but all of it is contained in one machine. That's absolutely crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
How strong is the laser?
I don't know, strong enough to
Well,
cut
I
wood
think
and
I would suspect that if you went back to the Glowforge unit, you well, actually go back to the other page you were just on. 10 watt and 40 watt. So it's a maximum of a 40 watt 455 nanometer laser. I wonder how that compares to what the Glowforge is.
I don't know. What does it say here?
Isn't
I'm sure
the
it's
Glowforge the one that we saw commercials for that actually etches on the case of a laptop? You can write your
Yeah. So this is so the here we go. Wait. Requirements, safety.
600, 800 watt.
Uh,
That's
mm,
consumption.
yeah. Where is it
yeah,
talking?
I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
Search for nanometer NM.
Go Forge. No. Huh. Am I
Some-
blind? Wait.
No, it's probably there, but it's
Mm, I don't know. It doesn't say.
did you ever had the situation where you needed something like that to etch on
Oh
what you were
yeah.
printing?
Well, I
Okay.
have a Cricut. So the Cricut was the first thing I got when it comes to like personal crafting,
Mhm.
and I cut out paper, and Cricut cut out like stickers and cut out all kinds of things.
It cuts vinyl too, right?
Yeah, it cuts vinyl. That's the main thing I cut was vinyl to make like custom T-shirts and stuff, and that kind of stuff.
It's a
It's
45 watt laser on the Glowforge Pro HD.
yeah, and
So
so
comparable.
yeah, but look at this. It's $7,000. So $7,000 for this Glowforge, where you could get buy now, where you could get this printer with the laser function for $2,800.
The bed is
Oh,
also significantly um bigger on the Glowforge.
okay, yeah,
It's
and then also
it's probably double the width, I would guess.
But
yeah,
it's
so
not but it's not a printer. It's just an
No.
etcher cutter kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so
I'd be curious how the laser on the bamboo, not just the power, but how does it compare to the Glowforge, which
I
is
don't
a
know.
purpose-built machine.
I think the Glowforge, I never had a reason to get it. I mean, like again, I'm like a hobbyist. I wouldn't mind getting it if it was under $1,000. But still, even then, it's still really expensive. So I don't want to buy something that maybe I use once or twice, especially at that price. But it looks like with the 40-watt laser one, it's $3,500.
Yeah, that's still half the price.
Yeah, but I would definitely use it just to 3D print. I mean, the etching's cool and cutting.
So this just came out. It's not out yet for people. Yeah, you can't buy it yet. Once it's out, I'd be very curious to see a side by side of the. Yeah, there's this when you do something really well, which obviously Bamboo does their Bamboo's job of 3D printing. I think it would be hard to argue that they have not mastered that. I mean, they are the gold standard in the through for the um what we'll call hobbyist to small professional printer. I be when the companies like that start doing other things, you always get a little nervous about are they losing focus? Are they trying to be a Swiss Army knife instead of just a really good pocket knife? Um, I've seen that a lot in the tech space before, and so hopefully that's not the case with Bamboo.
Hmm. Yeah, they're advertising it as personal manufacturing, so like an all-in-one machine.
Yeah. And so the question is, can it do all of the amazing things that you expect from Bamboo out of their 3D printing and this other stuff as well? Or does it all start kind of does it start it does an amazing job 3D printing and everything right now. Does it just start doing a good job at everything because it's got all of that stuff in there?
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Well,
Does it
I'm gonna
does it
get one eventually, but I'm gonna wait. Because usually with new stuff like this, there's always some kind of issues. So there's
Sure.
no point in spending $3,500 and then
does it
I have
make
to send it back
coffee?
in.
Does it make coffee?
No, that's a separate
Ah,
attachment.
shoot.
Even the 10 watt, how much is the 10 watt one?
That's the one that was $2,800.
2800. Yeah, I mean that's the 10 watt laser is still pretty strong. You can cut through 10 watt will allow you to do etching. You'd probably cut through some very, very thin wood with a 10 watt. Um, like they've got, I think you showed Katie like the little wooden house thing or something that it had put together.
Mhm.
You probably do that, like that butterfly thing, that happy birthday card. You could probably do that on the 10 watt one, maybe, depending on how thin the wood is. But the 40 watt to do any metal or really like that, you could probably do on the 10. That you're gonna do on the 40. That looks like some pretty sizable plastic.
In the metal dog tag
Yeah, it's interesting.
leather. Yeah, I'm excited. This I don't really care about the drawing stuff because I can draw. But yeah, this laser stuff. Yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
All
Okay,
right.
now how do I stop sharing? Stop sharing. All right.
All right. Let's switch. Nick, tell us about your internet.
What a disaster of a freaking week it's been.
What are you talking about, Nick? You have internet.
Yeah, I do, but you don't realize how useless everything you own is until there's no internet. Like you can't turn your lights on. Um, nothing works. It's a real shit show. There's no other way for me to describe it. I had a just shy of a 7-day AT&T fiber outage. It was not at my house, so it wasn't just like, oh, there was an issue that I was having and they weren't helping. There was a very, very large outage that affected about 2,000 customers. Um, and that was partially resolved for some of those customers on I think maybe Monday night. Yeah, that sounds about right. Monday night, that 2,000 person outage went to about a 300 person outage. And then all day Tuesday, no internet. And pretty much all day on Wednesday around 8 p.m. I was out getting dinner with a friend, and I got a text from AT&T that, oh, your service is back up and running. Um, and since then, it has been back, but I have learned a lot about backup internet services that are available. I used some Starlink for a period of time. I'll note I used the Starlink Mini, which in a second here I'll go run outside and grab the Starlink Mini to show it. It's a very small unit. I mean, it's literally it's like smaller than a textbook, and it's really meant for being in a wide open area where the obstructions are very far few in between. It doesn't have the motor on it like the big, $700 Starlink does, where it can self-track. It's called the Mini, and you get the results of that. I don't have the perfect setup for it. If I were to have mounted it probably on the roof or placed it somewhere better, like in my front yard, I may have had better service, but I was borrowing it and I didn't want it to get stolen. So I kept it hidden away. But when the Starlink was working, that was pretty cool. I was getting some pretty decent speeds, over 200 megabits down, over 100 megabits up. So that was pretty cool to play around and test that software or test that service. And then I ended up purchasing Verizon Backup Home Internet. It is a plan that Verizon Wireless offers for $25 a month, and you get up to 7 24-hour periods per month that you can activate the service. So in a
What
in a
does that
30 or
what does that mean?
it means exactly what it sounds like. When your internet goes out, you can
No,
activate
no,
this unit
the
for
the limit.
when your internet goes out, you
You
can
said
activate this device up to you can activate it up to 7 different 24-hour periods of time in a billing cycle in a month.
so you can only have it for 7 days a month.
7 full day. Well, 7
Oh,
24-hour periods.
okay. So if it's 12 hours, it'll be 14 days.
No.
Oh,
No, you activate it in a 24-hour period of time. So if your
okay.
internet's out for 6 hours and you activate it and you started one of those 24-hour periods, you're burning the rest of that time. It's just a strict 24-hour period.
Okay.
It's not, eh, I'm sure you are thinking the same thing I was thinking when I bought the service, but then as you think to yourself, how often is your internet down for
Right.
7 days
Yeah.
in a in a month? That's something that I have never experienced before. Even after Hurricane Florence, I don't think my internet was out for 7 full days. It may have been close to it, but of course that was a major natural disaster that struck Wilmington. But I don't even think my Spectrum internet was out for that amount of time when I was down here. So the nice thing about it is in those 7 days, it's unlimited. Um, T-Mobile has an offering as well called Home Backup Internet. For whatever stupid reason, they don't offer that in my area. They're apparently oversold on the T-Mobile internet here, so they will not offer the backup plan for me. That's $20 a month, 25 $20 if you do the auto pay. And for that, it's unlimited, but it's limited to 130 gigabytes in a month, which doesn't sound like a lot. Um, or excuse me, sounds like a lot. But as I was going through the process this week or this over the last week of um, trying to do all of what I normally do with the regular internet, 130 gigabytes is not a lot when you've got multiple devices and computers and everything connected to it, streaming content, things of that nature. So in the long term, I think the Verizon plan makes more sense because it is unlimited. Um, Again, 7 days, but in those 7 days, you can be watching Netflix on 6 different TVs, and as long as you've got the bandwidth, it doesn't matter, versus the T-Mobile unit where you're pinching bandwidth. For example, I had a Windows update that was, running in the background or something like that, and that would have been a problem if I had the T-Mobile unit because I think it was like a 6 or 7 gigabyte download. Um,
Yeah.
so so those are the 2 plans that are available. I
In
um
Wilmington.
I think through yeah, well, no, just in general. I mean, AT&T doesn't offer a now
Oh,
they
I
all
see
have
what you mean.
hotspot plans, but none of AT&T doesn't offer a backup internet plan They do have some service, apparently. I can't get it activated on my account, and I don't know why, where you can tether your AT&T smartphone to your modem, and it does some relay with cell phone service. I don't exactly know how it works, and I can't activate it for some unbeknownst reason. Um, but now I've got a Verizon unit, and the one really cool thing I'll tell you about the Verizon unit is it allows you to put the device in bridge mode, which is really cool. Meaning that if you're somebody that has your own router, like many of our listeners do, you have a gateway from your provider, but then you've got your own router that has your wireless access and all of that stuff on it. The Verizon unit allows you to put it in bridge mode, which means you just plug it directly into your router, renew the DHCP IP address for the WAN, and it just works. It forwards all my ports were forwarded. It was really cool to see how it worked. The T-Mobile unit is not meant to do that. There is no way to put it in bridge mode, so you've got to deal with double natting and things of that nature, which can become an issue for at least some of the work
Mhm.
that I do. Um, so yeah, that's been my week. Um, don't know what the issue was. It was obviously a major hardware failure. It was an equipment issue. It was not a line itself. In looking at what the crews were doing, I could see them working. Of course, not on the weekends. Even though I was told that they were giving me my AT&T guarantee and working as quickly as possible to
Yeah.
restore my service, which was a crock of shit. Um, when they weren't not working on the weekends or working sometime after 11 o'clock when they showed up each morning, um, they appeared to be doing some equipment switching out in one of those cabinets that they have on the side of the road. So I would guess maybe some sort of major fiber switch failed, or something like that. I saw they had literally all of the fiber unplugged from one of the units and were labeling them and testing fiber. So seems like it was some major equipment issue that they did not have a spare for, um, or maybe older cabinet, new models are out, they don't fit exactly in the same box. Who knows what it was,
Yeah.
but incredibly frustrating to say the least.
Yeah. I remember when Frame came by and there was a major fiber cut in the ring that encompasses where the internet center was. And the guy came out. Somebody came out with a backhoe and dug, found where the problem was, and to repair it took them less than an hour. I mean, they cut
Well,
the cable, they put it in some kind of a little handheld machine that aligned it and everything and soldered it, so to speak, together. And then that was it. And
that sounds like it was a
yes,
single
yes,
line.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and that there is, there's often the discussion of why is um, business class slash commercial internet more expensive than residential. And I believe what I experienced last week was one of those examples. If this was a commercial account or a business account, not only would I have gotten some better support, those problem probably would have been resolved quicker. But on a residential account, this is uh, not that this is the standard, but this is the kind of level of support that you get. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
you're not paying for it.
Well, you're paying for it, but you're not paying for that kind. Yeah.
No, I mean, you look at a commercial internet account from AT&T, it's hundreds of dollars a month
Yeah.
versus 70 that a regular person pays.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so I learned a lot. It was an interesting week. And then my kind of where I'm transitioning to now is I need to purchase a new router. I've got a very old, and when I say very old, I'm talking at least to literally the first day I moved to North Carolina. So it's at this point, it'll be 8 years old this summer. A very consumer, low powered home router, and with having now a backup internet provider. Um, I need a router that's got some different features, and I also was upgraded to gigabit internet from AT&T, and my router cannot handle the throughput on it. It's the max it will do is about 600 gig or 600 meg, excuse me. Um, is Ubiquiti still kind of the go-to, Gal? I was doing some research over the last couple of days. It seems like their entry level, not entry level, but their $200 price range market, with the trying to remember what unit I'm looking at. Um, let me see if I can.
200 will probably be just an access point.
So they actually they sell they've got a unit that they're selling called the Compact Cloud Gateway. Um, oh,
Yeah,
that's not it. That's not
I
what
wouldn't buy it.
Why not?
The same reason today, after the way I understand the networking, I understand that it's going to be a hefty out of pocket expense, but I would buy a separate gateway, a separate switch, and a separate access point, because
So
this will allow you to upgrade, let's say, just the Wi-Fi, right? Without needing to rehaul your entire network uh, later on, or if it's time to replace the gateway because of some technology that has changed, then you will just replace the gateway, right?
so they sell the Ubiquiti Cloud Gateway Ultra, which is not a Wi-Fi device. It is a gateway that supports up to 2 WAN, and then if you're using 2 WAN, it supports and it's got 3 LAN ports on it that you can run to switches and stuff like that. Um, that's that's kind of what I'm looking at from a starter standpoint.
Yeah, that sounds
It's
right.
it's a gigabit. It's a gigabit uh, router, and it's got the cloud. It's got the cloud key and management built into it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I run it on my servers, but yeah.
All right. Well, then in the next couple of weeks, I will be purchasing some new network hardware and going from there. So looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Nice.
setup is a bitch, but it's not a regular router. So
Why do you say setup's a bitch?
there's some concepts that you need to wrap your head around. It works differently. Um, it's just a learning curve, basically. The thing is, although it's separate components, you manage it as a single system.
Yeah, that's the weird
And
part.
so the problem there, especially with people like us who think in a very technical manner and have approached this in a very technical manner, we're trying to control a single point, but no, that's not the way. It's like you need to let the system do what it does. So
And all of that is done through the cloud key controller.
yeah. The interface is clean, it works, but
Mhm.
it takes time to get accustomed to, because we're just looking for, where do I control that port? No, that's not that's not the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Fortunately, the I'll post Trevor Lawrence, if people are familiar with him from Lawrence Systems, he does a lot of really good videos, and he actually, funny enough, when I was browsing through this earlier in this week, he just made a video this week on the best um his video came out 3 days ago, choosing the right Unify Cloud Gateway for 2025. So he just went through and did a pretty lengthy rundown of the units and what they have and their features. It was interesting. I did find one other unit, and I'm sort of tempted, but I think I'd like to play around with the Unify interface and long term being able to add cameras and getting fully invested in the Ubiquiti ecosystem, which is something that I may be interested in. I'm not sure if I am or not. But TP Link makes a very interesting dual WAN router that is incredibly affordable. It's called the uh they call it their gigabit VPN router, and it's made essentially to be used in small remote offices. That's kind of the use case for it. If you've got a major business and you have a auxiliary location with maybe a dozen, 2 dozen employees or whatever, they sell this unit, which is just a router. It supports up to three wide area networks, and it's $57. And the reviews on it are incredibly good. It's got 4.5 stars on Amazon, and I watched a bunch of videos on it. And people are blown away with how good this device is, and I'm I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I should buy this and then a Ubiquity access point, and then if I hate this thing, I can just buy a unified gateway and be done with it. Um, but for $57, I mean, you can't even get a good commercial or a good home router for $57. Um, so yeah,
That's
I don't know. It's a very interesting device. I'll throw the link in the chat for anybody
It's
that's interested. But
probably because of the back door.
well, I mean that might be the case.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see this. I was surprised to see this available. And it also, by the way, has a USB port that can take a USB Ethernet or USB 4G card. So you could even, if you had a traditional like 4G hotspot that was USB, you could plug it into that and
Mm.
it'll work as well. So it's pretty cool. It's an interesting device that TP Link makes. I was not even thinking about them. It's again, it's primarily meant for a VPN tunnel, um, but it apparently works for small home uses as well, which is where where I am.
I,
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might buy this one first and play around with it, but it seems to be taken up pretty well by the home lab community, which is not surprising. At the price, it's hard to hard to beat that at $57 for a 3 WAN router. That's not from AliExpress. Is pretty interesting. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get my Starlink unit. So keep talking. I'll bring
All
it
right.
in a couple minutes, and we'll talk about it at some point.
All right. Let's switch here.
Okay.
S-
What are we
Do you
switching
do you
to?
have something to talk about?
I
Yeah.
mean, I upgraded my Windows 11 this week.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's hear about this. That's true. The trick. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a bit ashamed because I haven't even noticed that my main PC was not being upgraded. Like the upgrade of the feature sets, right? The 2H something that always
And
comes after the Windows 11. It was stuck at 2022.
because
So because my CPU is an old CPU and the automatic process detects it as an unsupported CPU. Uh, However, it came to a point where it says, like I actually saw in red writing, it's like uh, the version you're running is reaching end of life. And I said, what? I mean, I'm running Windows 11. How come it's reaching end of life? And then I saw I was stuck on 22H2. And so I said, okay, that's stuck for a long time. That shouldn't be there. And searched around how to upgrade Windows 11 when I got that message. Got to an article by The Verge where they just give a step-by-step description. There's a registry key that you need to edit and need to work with the ISO, the installer from the ISO where everything's local. And apparently that did the trick. It upgraded in place. Everything's working.
now I
Um,
saw what the key says, the one that you add, and
Yeah,
it
it just
says
says
not TPM.
don't.
What
Yeah,
was it?
it says don't check the CPU. Basically, that's what it means,
And
right?
it also talked about TPM.
So that's the thing. It's about the TPM edition, right? Something like that. So I do have a TPM chip embedded in the CPU, but it's just not the one that
That they're looking
is
for.
fully supported. Okay, or alternative, this hasn't been tested, right? Sometimes unsupported means we've never tested it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it will not work. It means we do not want to guarantee it'll work,
Yeah.
right? And so it might be just that, but in any way, the OS is working fine. Uh, there's nothing bizarre about it. It's just it was lagging behind in features, and obviously in terms of the Microsoft support of it, right? It would stop getting updates, so uh, it was important for me to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
The process was painless, but it was long. I don't know why. Very, very slow. Even though I'm running on off SSDs and all that, it took like an hour and a half. But it did it. Most of the time was in the preparation, right? So I continued using
So
the
this is
machine
not
until was time to
not
reboot.
made to work on a computer that doesn't have TPM,
I don't
and
know.
the processor is like I don't know, 6 or 7.
I don't. I to tell the truth, I haven't even dove into it
Okay.
that much. What I did see is it was refusing to upgrade. So I downloaded the
Yeah.
media creation tool, and when you run the media creation tool, the update assistant, I think it's called installer assistant, then it says run the PC health check tool, and it downloads the PC health check tool, and you run it, and it says your CPU isn't supported. So with that, that is what I, you know, with that information at my disposal, that's what I searched for, and that's when the Verge article, which was literally the first thing I tried, and it worked.
Interesting. All right.
I was already on Windows 11, to be
Yeah, I
clear,
understand.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of repaired it.
Yeah,
You
sort of,
full
yeah.
yeah. All right. So streaming platforms are increasingly indistinguishable to consumers despite high brand awareness. According to Hub Entertainment Research, the annual evolution of video branding report shows major services like Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max experiencing year over year declines in viewers' ability to articulate what makes each platform unique. Fewer consumers, 37% in 2025, down from 41% in 2023, report signing up for services to watch specific shows, while many can't correctly identify where signature programs like Game of Thrones or The Bear can be viewed, while 58% know that Stranger Things streams on Netflix. Less than half can properly place other major titles. There are so many services now that people are just getting confused. They're not they're
It's not
done.
surprising.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
identifying a certain show with a certain
How could you? I
source.
mean, there's so many of
Yeah,
them, and you know, obviously, I don't think Game of Thrones is a good example to use. I think most people that watch that are fully aware that that's an HBO show. But you get to some of the more the shows that are not the blockbusters, right? Stranger Things is a Netflix blockbuster.
yeah,
Severance is an Apple TV blockbuster show, right? These are incredibly popular, but you get to more of the good middle of the run series, I'm sure people have no idea where they are.
It also
Uh,
doesn't help that uh the networks are sharing shows. So like on
yeah.
Netflix, you can watch Showtime stuff and or at least you could. I don't know. It's like every month they make a new deal and it was kind of frustrating trying to figure out where to watch certain things because like Resident Alien at the time, it's a show that I really enjoy. It was on Sci-Fi originally. I watched the first season on Netflix and then they didn't have it anymore. And I had to go to Hulu to watch the next. And then Hulu didn't have it anymore. And then I had to go to Peacock to watch like the final season or whatever. I literally had to bounce around between 3 or 4 different streaming services to watch one show.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's frustrating. That's why I'm constantly using Google to because Google will tell you like where to watch.
Interesting. Uh, you have to go to different providers to watch complete.
Because they have different
Hmm.
rights to different seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, for shows
That's
that
why
especially shows that were on like cable networks like AMC or something like that that doesn't have their own. Well, I mean, I'm sure AMC does, but for more cable shows, though, yeah, those rights are all over the place. I had an interesting conversation with a guy at a networking event about that this week. We were talking about he works in the IT field, and we were talking about Plex and having all of the legal content that you do on your Plex server. And we were talking about just how these streaming services have unilaterally made it so expensive and so confusing as to where their content is and how much it costs. And it's $10 with one ad every other show, and then for $17 it's an ad just once a day, and this tier isn't available, this show isn't available on this tier, and it's just I imagine there's going to be a reset sooner rather than later with all of this.
there won't be.
I think there will
I
be.
mean,
Eventually, you're going to have users that just stop. You'll Netflix has already seen it, and you'll start seeing it with these other services. People are going to stop paying for it.
yeah, but
I went through and
remember,
canceled.
they've jacked up the price so high, those who drop are just not of interest anymore. They're still making the money. That's the thing. They
They're still
don't
making
really
the money.
care.
Well, I disagree with you. It's not about just making the money. For their investors, most of these companies are publicly traded. They need to show continued growth in their subscription numbers. I mean, that's always been the Netflix thing is no matter what Netflix has done, there's always been new subscribers. That is now starting to go in the other direction, and that's a serious problem for a company like that that's still raising money and still going after major not even angel investors, but people that are investing hundreds of millions of dollars into a service like Netflix.
That will probably change the investing part. I literally do not think it'll change. And the reason I'm saying I think that is because we've been waiting for something like this since cable existed, right? Like a la carte choice of content, and that never came. It never came, and it doesn't matter in which region of the world you're looking at. It never came.
And it makes sense why
So
it didn't come. It is not practical for anybody to offer the true a la carte service like the consumer wants. There's no money in it. The fees are too expensive. You look at YouTube TV, which and Hulu Live TV, which used to be relatively affordable in terms of their offerings. YouTube TV, I think, is 80. It's either 80 or $89 a month now for the base plan, and it's because of the cost when every time they bring on a new channel, a new network, it costs the model for folks. I don't know we've talked about this, but just a reminder for the model for live TV is the cable company, whether it's YouTube or Spectrum or whoever, they pay a certain amount of dollars per month per channel to the people that are producing it, and the most expensive is ESPN, which is something like almost $4 a user. So for your $60 for your what was your $70 YouTube bill, $4 of that immediately goes to ESPN, which is ABC/Disney, and then every
R-
other channel on top of it.
I agree. But if you'll give, right, if you'll give the users, tell them you don't need to pay anything, just $4 a month to get ESPN, they would do it. The thing
But there's no
is,
money in it
it
for them.
never translates that way, right?
But yeah, because there's no money. YouTube's not going to offer you the service for them to break even. I mean,
So
that's what
that's
it comes
why
down to.
I think we're never going to see a la carte.
No,
That's
never.
what I mean.
You're 100% right. It doesn't make sense for any company to offer it.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well,
if YouTube would just sell you the ESPN channels, which there's a bunch of them that you get. It's not just ESPN. It's ESPN2 and the ACC network and all the other shit that ESPN owns. I mean, if they charged you $6 a month, is it worth their time to make $2 on your subscription? And the answer is no. It's not. It's not worth YouTube's time to even offer that as a service. There was one. Who is it that does? Is it not? Is it? There's one that's kind of. There's a couple that are like kind of a la carte. They're not fully like. Is Fubo a la carte? Don't they have like multiple different tiers that you can buy?
That's the thing. The moment you do it in tiers, you're back to the old cable model. The only difference is the cable company now literally just lays the cable and somebody else provides the streaming service, right?
Yeah.
That's the only difference. So,
Or maybe it's Sling. Somebody.
the moment Sling marketed themselves as a la carte, they were never a la carte. That's the thing, right? It's never what the consumer actually wants. So the only a la carte choice at this point these days, right, is steal your content, right? That's the only a la carte.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
and somehow that is thriving as well, right? I mean, the amount of automation and the amount of endpoints from which you can grab something also exists. I mean, those who pirate content also pay premiums. They pay premiums to VPNs to hide their traffic. They pay premiums to uh, downloading services of different types. Right? You have the Real the Breeds of the world and all that. The download from uh, the the time delayed sources. So bypassing the time delay, you can pay, or you have private trackers for torrents that charge a premium to be a VIP on them. That costs money as well. It just
mhm.
costs a bit less because none of these actors worry about paying the royalties and all that. It's just something about the scheme of how the money moves. It's broken, and um, what people want is just a bit of entertainment. And when it gets there, uh,
You know,
the rates are just
I
they
was
don't make any sense.
I was just thinking about something. You go to a restaurant and you order the XYZ, which is $15, and it comes with a side salad.
Not
And
all, not
well, no,
all
no, and it
restaurants.
comes with the sides of salad and maybe bread. And you tell the restaurant will actually tell you, well, the main course is $11. And you say, okay, you know what? I just want the salad and the bread. No, they're not going to sell it to you because they don't make money on
They
it.
Yeah,
actually they
that's true.
will. Actually, they will.
No,
Right?
they have
Every
it.
single restaurant like that will sell you that. It just when it's part of the meal, there's a few dollars less
Right.
for that
Well, then
piece.
that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want like two pieces of content, right? Specifically, right? You want this movie and you want this show, right? There is no way to pay just for these.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Look,
not true. That you can buy them. You can buy them on
Some
Amazon
yeah.
or Apple and watch them on iTunes or you can still purchase shows through Amazon Prime.
Not all of
That
them.
would be
Not
well of
probably not.
actually a surprising amount of them you can purchase a la carte through Amazon, but they're expensive.
Okay.
well, I
Like if I
mean, it's not.
like how much would it
They're
cost
not
me to
that
buy The
expensive.
Sopranos?
Yeah, it's comparable to going and buying DVD set or whatever, the Blu-ray set. But what's missing there is ownership is not promised, right?
Yeah.
It is a best effort guarantee, and that's not good enough because it means that I don't know, in 5 years they go into some legal trouble with the distributor, and suddenly that show that you paid for is no longer in the catalog, and you do not have access, and that's a problem, right?
Yeah,
The
definitely.
DRM fiasco. So
Definitely.
yeah,
All right.
For example, I'm looking at The Sopranos, which is of course, a very popular
yeah.
series that HBO has. So you can buy the season. You can buy the season on Amazon. One season, I think there's 6 for $25. It's $25 a season. I mean, so you're talking about investing essentially $200 to purchase the show through Amazon. Or what is the other big option? Subscribe for $10.99 with Max, which is I
Yeah.
guess Amazon's got to deal with. So you can spend $200 to watch The Sopranos and buy it through Amazon, which I assume you can download those episodes. I don't know how that works with Amazon. Maybe you can't.
No, the
And
download is temporary, like
it's
Netflix.
temporary. Okay. But it would be a lifetime license for it as long as Amazon continues to own the license, which you bring up is a good point. But it makes sense. Buy it for $200 or pay $10 a month for Max. I mean, you'd be stupid not to buy the Max subscription. You're getting the same thing plus all of the other stuff that's
Yeah.
available on Max for essentially the same price.
Agreed,
Actually,
because
maybe
digital
less.
ownership is not ownership.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? A certificate of ownership is not the same as owning something.
Yeah.
And so uh it's just owning access to, and that access can be revoked, and that's a problem. That's the only thing that piracy, right, deals with differently. Like if I have a copy of it that I've downloaded uh, elsewhere, right? If I have a copy of the video file on my hard drives, then nobody can take it from me. Uh, like it's physically going to stay on that hard drive. Nobody can erase it from there unless they access it themselves. So that's the difference, right? That's the different model, and nobody in the digital media realm is providing an official solution other than Plex as a PVR, right? As a digital video recorder, uh, which means that it needs to air. Uh, the antenna needs to catch it. It'll write the recorded copy on a hard drive, and that is the only legal way at this point to get the content digitally on your hard drive.
Okay.
Which is a convoluted way around it, right? There's no
Yeah.
other service that provides something like this. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Let's switch something interesting here. Nick, you were
That wasn't
saying
interesting.
you were
Okay.
saying that you realize that all the stuff you have without the internet is kind of
That's
worthless.
freaking useless. Yeah. I
A
mean, you realize
software-
your whole house, you can't do anything in your house. Nothing, your dryer doesn't work, can't turn lights on, nothing, can't
Well,
cook. It's all useless.
Listen to this. A software engineer discovered that his newly purchased Bosch 500 series dishwasher
Oh God.
lacks basic functionality behind cloud connectivity.
Oh no.
Reigniting concerns about internet-dependent home appliances. Jeff
Jesus.
Geerling found that features like rinse cycle, delayed start, and eco mode on his $1,000 dishwasher require connecting to Wi-Fi and creating an account with Home Connect. That's Bosch's cloud service.
This
Bosch
is
has their
the
own cloud service?
I guess.
I
this
thought
is the
Home Connect was somebody
BMW
else.
heated seats all over again,
Yeah.
just in a dishwasher form.
So
Damn.
he
Oh, it is.
said,
That is literally their device. Home Connect is made by Bosch. Oh, that's dangerous, boy. I tell you what.
that he criticized the approach as potentially part of planned obsolescence,
Mm.
noting that without a current subscription fee, the company will likely either shutter the service or introduce payments for previously standard features.
Yes.
So you don't have your internet went down, you cannot rinse your dishes. You have to
Here you go.
you have to
Here you
use
go, Amnon. This is on the Bosch website. This is the smart espresso machine that you can purchase, and it looks like
yeah, and you
it's.
can't serve espresso if you don't have internet.
I want to see how much it is. Oh, it's only $3,000. Wow. Oh, look at this
Amazing.
one. It's a built-in. Look at this. Look at this guy. This is nice. And it's only $4,000.
Well,
It's like what you see in a Circle K.
This is like those $15,000 toilets all over again.
Yeah. Well, so this.
Oh no, those are worth it.
Yeah, yeah, Katie, get it right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this, this is the concerns there are obviously very legitimate, and obviously Bosch is a very well known brand.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that Bosch is going out of business tomorrow.
right.
But this is the issue with a lot of these, especially like when you're going on Amazon and you're looking for cheap smart home plugs, which is a example. You can buy them from companies that have an app that you have to use. And I think you actually went through this. Once the service stops working, which it inevitably will, because these are not like real companies, they're just selling.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
build a cheap little app and sell their product. When that stuff is gone, your product is
It's
literally
brick.
useless.
It's a brick.
Now it's fine if you're buying a $6 smart plug. I mean, you just buy a new
Right.
one.
Yeah.
When you spend $1,000
Yeah.
on a dishwasher, that stings a little bit.
Yeah, it stings a lot.
I would have been screwed this past week if I had one of those. Fortunately, my $200 Frigidaire dishwasher saved the day. No internet connection for me.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's really a problem.
I wonder why those simple features don't work.
I have no
Um,
idea. And he said that they shutter them. They
Well,
no, they
that's
hide them.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can understand like, oh, you can't do a schedule without the app
Okay,
because the
yeah.
app would work through a schedule.
Yeah.
But
But the
so are there no physical buttons on the front of the unit?
I have no idea.
Let's look.
I
See what
don't
they've
think it's
got.
about that. I think it's literally the BMW heated seat things. It's the company trying to see what they can get away with, right? In terms of features that are secondary to the main function. And so um, hiding these subscription necessities into them and just nabbing right at our nerves, basically seeing what they can get away with, and then the next iteration of this will be a course correction based on consumer reaction. And so this will allow them to navigate. Eventually they will never give this up, and they will grow the they'll grow the group of features that they and their investors and eventually their consumers will be okay with having it there. This is Amazon adding ads to Prime Videos, basically, right? This is just the big company trying to see what they can get away with, And next time we'll see more of this, and we'll see more of this. This isn't going away, right?
It's
Well, then
interesting though. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at $1,000 Bosch dishwasher, presumably similar to the one that
he
this
says
guy
it's a
bought.
Bosch 500 series. He did say that.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull the Bosch
Yeah, he did say
500
that.
series. 800, 300. Okay, here's the Bosch 500 series. It's got all the physical buttons right on the front of the unit. So
Well,
I guess like what Ga was mentioning, I mean, here's the unit. It's got all of the buttons for time delayed, uh, the different cycles, heavy, auto, normal, speed 60, which I guess would be uh probably a rinse cycle kind of thing.
yeah, he
Um,
says that features like rinse cycle, delayed start, and eco mode economy.
economy, yeah, yeah. I don't see a button for that. I do see a time delay
Yeah.
button. Um, hmm.
And so what happens, right, is Bosch says, "Oh, you get this. If you want more feature, just register to a cloud, right?" That's how it starts. And next it'll be, "Oh, we have an additional feature for the dishwasher. We've already baked in all of the hardware and the software. All you need to do is just pay us the licensing fee, and you'll get your customized rinse cycle program," right? I mean, that's the marketing speak of this
Yeah,
process.
it I mean, I don't care how you explain it. It makes no sense to me that
I
that they will
agree.
be
It
behind.
makes no sense to us as consumers. But remember, the company, they just want the consumer to keep paying. They don't really care about the consumer, whether they use their application or their physical appliance or not. They just want to see the money coming in. You compare this to software subscription companies, right? They want their ARR. They want their annual recurring revenue to be as stable as possible. And that's what whoever's making money wants it.
So I'm looking at the
So
manual for this device, 12.5, setting the time delay. You can delay the start of the wash cycle via the Home Connect app. Open the app and select the appliance. In the settings, you can use the time delay function to delay the start of the wash cycle. So, yeah, I guess they're not even attempting to hide that feature is in there. What was the other one that he said, Amnon? Eco mode?
He said eco mode and rinse. But apparently there are others because it says features like rinse cycle, delayed start, and eco mode. So there must be some other ones, but he mentioned
Hmm.
these.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
see
you
anything
won't
about.
find echo mode because echo probably is preceded by some sort of registered symbol. So you need the word echo.
Yeah.
Or
Will be hard to
economy
find.
or
Yeah,
saver, water saver.
it looks like it's economy, but I'm not finding every
Yeah,
other word. What was the other one you said? Rinse.
rinse. Rinse cycle, yeah.
Let's
You
see,
just want to
rinse
put
eight.
you want to put an extra rinse. Honey, go down to Verizon and get us a internet backup device. Good luck getting your
Mhm.
wife to be able to open an app and do this when she just wants to wash the
Oh no,
dishes.
no, don't worry. Your wife will teach you how to do that. That's
Yeah,
not the problem.
yeah,
It's just that it's another hurdle that
yeah,
is unnecessary.
absolutely. I mean, there should have been a switch on it. Do you want it to be smart or you don't want it to be smart?
Well, they sell non-smart
I
dishwashers.
know, but I mean, even the smart ones, because of the limitation of how it's going to work when you're using it, you should just say, "Hey, I don't want 'em I don't want anything smart."
Then you
And
don't buy a smart unit.
yeah,
I mean, that's this is and this is not it's not a great situation, but I mean, if we know that we know this is not unique to Bosch. This is not every company is doing this now. You buy any sort of smart appliance, and Gal just was talking about how it's eventually a huge revenue generator for the company itself. This if you don't want this stuff, you don't buy smart appliances. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, as consumers, I mean, this is not a new thing. It sucks. I agree. It's stupid, but this is the reality of the age in which we're living. So just you got to be smart when you're purchasing this stuff.
Well, it's as simple as that today.
Yeah.
Try to find a non-smart TV.
I can tell you Best Buy sells an Insignia 32-inch non-smart TV for $79 because I bought one last
Okay.
year.
Try to find one 43-inch 4K non-smart TV.
All
I
right,
don't think
touche.
they
Let me
exist.
you said
Yeah, I
42
don't.
Uh,
inch?
Yeah, I couldn't find one. The one of the TVs that I bought in 2020, that was the Black Friday 2020. One of them died. The malfunction. It's repairable. It's just going to be, I don't know. Probably repairing it on my own will cost me somewhere between 70 to $90. And if I give it to some place to fix it, it'll probably be 150.
yeah, forget it.
So um so I looked around and found in Walmart an Elemental TV. It has smarts on it. It has some Chinese stuff called Sumo. Everything's in English, right? But it's just based in China. And I can tell you from the setup process, pretty easy to set up everything while the TV is completely offline, which is excellent, right? Because not needing to connect it to the network is still important. I think you can't do that with a Roku TV, or I don't know about the others, but
I would assume, yeah, you got to connect them to
yeah,
the network.
these were all Roku TV, and as far as I recall, uh, there was some process that required to activate the TV or something. Anyway, works. That's the screen now that I'm working with. $138 in Walmart. I paid the extra $15 to $18 to have it covered for 3 whole years of
Mhm.
warranty. I mean, can't beat the price, but I couldn't find one without the smarts.
There's 2 companies that are still making, from what I can determine, 2 companies that are still making non-smart, aka dumb TVs. One is Spectre, Spectre, SCEPTRE, and Samsung, surprisingly. I did find a 43-inch Gal, but it's 1080p.
Yeah,
Um,
1080p, not 4K. I know.
and the,
Yeah.
and then so yeah, there's a bunch of Samsung units that
So get this
that have Wi-Fi but are
screens,
not smart.
a computer monitor screen, right?
The computer
Back and
monitor won't
forth.
have it. Yeah, yeah.
You're saying no. You're saying won't have it. The ones I'm using at my work, they're 27-inch for high definition ones from Samsung, right?
Hmm.
Not 27. I think they're larger, maybe 29. Anyway, large screens. I connect to them with a USB-C Thunderbolt to the Mac, right? But those are smart TV. They come with a remote. There's an app or something that you can install apps on it if you connect them to the
Huh.
network. It's like, come on, these are designed to be computer monitors, but they already have smarts in them.
Interesting.
Nobody needs that, right? But it's there.
Huh.
More to it. It has 3 USB uh, ports at the back. So 2 of these USB ports, they go through the Thunderbolt cable to the PC, to the Mac. The third one is to actually hook up mouse or keyboard to the TV. Like I hooked up, I filled up the ports, and my keyboard isn't working, right? And and then I see that it's controlling the TV. It's like, what the hell? I didn't need this. So yeah,
Interesting.
All right.
it's a weird world at this point. Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Let's real quick talk about this. The president of Signal defended the messaging app security on Wednesday after top Trump administration official mistakenly included a journalist in an encrypted chat room they used to discuss looming U.S. military action against Yemen's Houthis and the Blowfish. There were so
I
many
haven't
people.
heard about it, but I like
Darius
it.
Rucker.
There were so many people online that says, "Why are they using this? Shows you that those apps are this and that." And
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a lot of misinformation about Signal.
it's ridiculous. Somebody
I'm
broke.
glad they're using Signal. I mean, if anything, like props to them not using, whatever email system or whatever that is built in. I mean, if you want to have those discussions, just don't add a journalist, but do it.
Yeah.
I don't have any issue with them using
Well,
Signal. I
this
think that's
is
great.
this is the same as, hey, somebody broke into my house. Yeah, I gave them a key, but they broke into my house. They weren't supposed to come. Something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
give me a break. It's
No.
not the lock problem. It's not the door problem. It's a social.
Yeah, I mean, they
yeah,
screwed up by
there you
adding
go.
this guy.
Yeah,
But there was a lot of objection to Signal being used, and I don't understand that at all.
I know. It's just an excuse to do that, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we should be encouraging that kind of use.
And for the older audience, Infinity Realty, a 3D technology company, has acquired Napster for $207 million.
What?
Yep. The
Is that what
company
that must be what the name's worth?
I guess, I don't know. The company's announced Tuesday the deal aims to transform the once notorious music sharing service into a metaverse platform.
Oh, great.
Good luck with
207
that.
million.
Yeah,
on
ask
Napster.
Mark Zuckerberg. What did he invest about $3 trillion into his metaverse plan?
Well,
I wonder what that. I wonder. So they bought the name and then they bought whatever data
they bought
Napster has.
they bought Napster, whatever goes
But
with Napster.
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of data they've got. If they've got a lot of really good user data, but that data at this point is probably what 20+ years old.
I know. That's what I'm saying. What is
The
why
name's
would-
not worth $200 million in
No.
itself.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. All right.
Real quick before we go.
Yeah, okay.
So this
You want me to pin
so
it?
this is the Starlink Mini.
Oh,
It's about the size of a legal pad.
what's on the other side?
Nothing. Just
Oh,
a
okay.
just a regular unit.
Yeah.
So this is the unit itself that goes outside. It's one cable that you run inside. And this is what I found to be the most amazing part. This is the other unit.
Huh.
It's got a single barrel jack connector on the end. There's no Ethernet on the mini unit. This is the size of a smart plug outlet. You plug this in to the unit with this cable. It's one cable at the bottom. This is your Wi-Fi access point, and this is the brains of the unit itself. So pretty amazing from a size and usability. One cable plugged into this, you've got Wi-Fi, and yeah, pretty cool. Tiny.
What-
This is the size. This is an Amazon smart plug or
Yeah.
any other smart plug size device. Very cool.
And is it
So.
rugged or is it real flimsy? The big unit, the antenna.
Oh no, I mean it's not cheap. It's rugged. It's $500. I think it's not a
No,
cheap
no, no,
unit.
no. I mean, is it going to break easily?
No, I mean this is Starlink is a subsidiary of SpaceX. I mean
Yeah.
everything that they have is over engineered.
Okay.
And it's I'm sure if you're dropping it off your roof, it's probably not long for this world. But it's made to travel. It's made to be mounted on the top of an RV
Mhm.
or something like that. And yeah, it's a cool unit. I was surprised to
You
see it was one cable.
You should have gotten a 150-foot tower and put it on top.
Yeah, I should have. The reason I looked at Starlink as a permanent backup, it's just too expensive. Their monthly subscription is $80 to $100 a month.
For
It's just too
this?
expensive for
For the
yeah. Mhm.
wow.
It's just too expensive for a backup. Plus the unit's $500. So
Oh, you mean for the full
no, that
start?
unit's $499.
Wow. So
Yeah,
how much is now is the one that turns and
it's expensive. It's over. I think it's $700 or $800. It's not cheap.
okay. Hmm,
Yeah, and the,
interesting.
the reason it's more expensive, it's got a lot more electronics in it.
Yeah.
Tracks, it moves. It's
Right.
that's the base station. That's the one that's meant to be permanently installed at your house. This unit is meant to travel.
Hmm.
So yeah, cool stuff. I was glad I got to play with it.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of great things about it. We've talked a lot of great things about it in the past. So it was cool to actually put it in use. The app on the smartphone is very user friendly. Even though it wasn't my device and I didn't have the login for it, I was still able to configure the device and point it in the right direction and do all of that from the app. They've really thought through a lot of it. It worked really well. I was if I had a better geographical setup, I would have probably used it more. But that's not Starlink's fault. That's
Yeah. They
just the
couldn't dress it up like a vicious dog, so you can put it in the front yard.
I mean,
Then
I
nobody
could
would
have thrown it in the front yard. I don't have a lot of I live at the end of
Well,
a cul-de-sac, so I don't have a lot of through
still,
traffic. But the
yeah,
last thing I needed was my buddy's $500 Starlink to be stolen
yeah,
out of the
yeah,
front of my yard.
yeah. No, I
So
understand.
yeah, cool stuff.
Nice.
So I posted in chat a link to the Wikipedia article about the leak, the signal leak. It includes the screenshot from the chat.
Oh yeah,
So
the screenshots are all
yeah,
out there.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, great PR for Signal. Now everybody knows what Signal is. Cable News has been talking about it for a week straight.
Yep.
All right.
Inside job.
Katie, anything you have to add here?
Nope, I was just excited about the printer.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Katie. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe you learned and maybe enjoyed our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And change any same passwords where you use them. We'll say it again and again. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT, 1110 a.m. and 99.3 FM, and on YouTube. Just search for the Carolina Journal News Hour. And Nick does his personal broadcast every morning from 7 till 8, the Nick Craig Show on YouTube. Just go to Nick Craig and get the information where to watch it and where to download. And again, Nick and Brian host the Infection podcast on Twitch. This is for survival games and gaming news and some political stuff here and there. Just go to infectionpodcast.com and find out when this week show is and how to download it if that's what you want to do. Have a great week. We'll be together again next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.